Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. That was a bit of all right, wasn't it, folks? You know what I mean? Dominated. After an initial, 10 minutes, would you say? Leeds were far and away the best side tonight and have 2 goals to show for it as well. Maybe could have been more on another day, but hey-ho, we're here just to be absolutely positive tonight. Great goals from Pascal Strout. We scored from a corner. The hoodoo is done. Do Wilder is a wanker. That was getting sung at Ellen Road, which was a lot of fun. And also, we had a goal from Joseph, an assist from Pirro. Rothwell, I mean, whoever said he was shit needs the red checking because he was phenomenal. Tanaka, oh my God, he's the Japanese Modric. Defensively, again, exceptional. And, listen, what a performance. Gabe, you were here first, so I'm going to come to you, my favourite American in the world. How happy are you tonight?
My eardrums aren't happy. I got to do something about these levels. No, I'm ecstatic, man. I'm ecstatic. No, it's a very good performance. Some takeaways that jump out at me the most. You guys know I love a little bit of data. 30-4. Anybody want to know what that figure represents? 30-4. It's 30 touches in their box for us, wow, and 4 touches in our box for them. That is. You're not going to get the job done if you're Sheffield United that way. A couple other statistics throw at you. 0 big chances conceded. I think some of us were a little bit worried about Meslier after the performance he had. If they started shooting on target at a high volume, what would that mean for us? Leeds United didn't let that happen today. Excellent defensive effort. And the third thing is 16%. Anybody know what that means? 16% today. We have... Well, I just messed up my own statistic. 60% of all their concessions all this season, Sheffield United. They've conceded so few chances on goal, so few goals, and just in one swipe, a 2-0 victory, Leeds United have scored 16% of the goals against Sheffield United. It's a fantastic match for us. I'm very, very pleased. It's a nice way to start the weekend for a change, isn't it? I say for a change, like we've barely won. We've won a decent amount of games, but it feels nice, doesn't it? This is a good opponent.
It does. Do you know what the best thing is, right? We've now played all of the top 6 and we're second. So now the fixtures turn. And then what happens? You know what I mean? The run and the gap and because if we're being honest, if we look back at games, we've actually been the best side even in games that we've lost. I think against Burnley, it is what it is. I know, it was an error and whatnot, but hey-ho, forget that. That's in the past. You are right, though, Gabe. Sheffield United hadn't conceded a goal in 6 consecutive games coming into this. They were unbeaten. The only team unbeaten in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th tier. And Leeds United have beaten them and beaten them comfortably, really comfortably. Joe, you were up next. It was quite... Dare I say easy? It wasn't easy. No, it was. But we were far and away the better side.
It was what you'd expect if you were playing like a sort of pushing for playoffs team. But we've had way harder games than that. Like comfortably tougher matches. Like West Brom, far more difficult than that was. And that's made me really, really comfortable with it, like the entire thing and the way that Wilder approached it. And I'm sorry I've not got any ham, but I do have a quite spicy pepperami, and I feel like he's going to be absolutely furious today. But I think I love how much he's going to lose his head right now. Because as much as he was like, okay, we've got to be calm going into it, on the inside, no, he's not. On the inside, his head is burning because he came into it with a very, very clever plan of, well, we'll just sit back because Leeds aren't very good against that. And it turns out that they also have to try and play some football from time to time to get a result. And they didn't, and it turned out absolutely perfectly for us. Very happy.
Yeah, like Bob says here, and I think he makes a good point. He really surprised me with his lineup, if I'm being totally honest, playing Shackleton, playing so defensive, removing Raksaki. I was quite surprised with it. And yeah, I mean, Paul, talk to me about the performance, mate. It was great, wasn't it?
I saw the lineup and I thought, does he think that we still have Ampadu and Gruev in midfield? Because he's set up pretty much like that. Does he not realise that we have the absolutely sexy footballer that is Rothwell doing his little Cruyff turns and manoeuvres? Ao Tanaka, who practically, as far as I'm concerned, needs a drug test after tonight.
Japanese Modric.
Just unbelievable. But for everybody that said and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here, but for everybody that said that Farke's no tactician, he's got no, that is the best we have played this season by a country mile. We contain them. We stop them from having shots. I mean, Struijk is rated at 8.1 tonight, obviously because of his goal, but the way that he kept everything out. I was baffled by the substitutions that he made as well. But Wilder, not Farke, but just everybody. Rothwell, Tanaka, brilliant. Bogle had a good game as well. Yeah, really played well.
He's settled nicely, hasn't he?
Yeah, really well. Rodon did nearly make me crap my pants a little bit with the ball, but then he recovered himself, which was really good. Meslier looked confident in goal when he had to catch the ball, when he had to come for it. So pleased for him for that. The goal, brilliant. The second goal, that ball from Piru was just disgustingly weighted. And so, because what can the Sheffield United...
He's grew as well, actually. He's actually grew into playing that 9, I think.
Yes, Piru played very, very well tonight, I think, even without the goal. He gets his assist, which is good, but there's nothing that Sheffield United player could do other than bring him down for a penalty against Joseph. And Joseph, strong, held him off and finishes the goal. Just everything about that tonight was perfect. And here's the really, really scary thing. We're still not in top gear yet. We're still not in top gear yet. Exactly. We managed to do that. So...
Yeah, I love the centre. Oh God, I'm tripping over my words. Look, Joseph, he was basically hunched over at one point, just backing his backside into the peck. It was, and oh man, it was unbelievable. Look at this, that's unbelievable. Abdul Rahman Al Khalifa, you legend. He says, "Great win, guys. Yes, Rothwell by far man of the match with Firpo close second. Well done, Leeds, marching on together." Evie, I know you've been a bit like me all season, like telling me, calm down, we're actually playing well. It feels good tonight to see Leeds United perform and get the result they deserve.
Yeah, I feel justified for being calm now because we have done it. We looked, other than like the first 10 minutes, I would say it was kind of 50-50, probably with Sheffield, taking, maybe 55 kind of thing. But after that, we dominated, and by the end of the first half, I was like, right, this is a tasty game. It could, be quite easily won by a single error on either side. But I still, I thought they were better than Sunderland. I thought they offered more without actually offering anything, if that makes sense. Sunderland offered so little in the grand scheme of that game. I know we look back at it and think quite negatively of it, but actually overall they offered very little. But this game, we were just all over them. I was really concerned about that midfield because, just thinking, how are we going to contain them? And we were just fantastic. And the fact that the entire game was being played in the midfield by the end of the first half, when you saw all the stats and all the positioning where the game was being kind of actually won, and we were winning that midfield battle with our, third, fourth choice midfield. So the fact that we're doing that, and I would say right now with the amount of injuries that we've still got, obviously Solomon and James still coming back into the side, I think that they probably edge us on squad, if I'm being, honest. But they didn't look like that today. We made them look like they hadn't won a game. They hadn't played much in terms of the top 10 teams. We made them look like that today. And we deserved every single, bit about that. And I've got to admit, when obviously for the Joseph goal, I thought he held on to it brilliantly. But I did kind of feel like I should be paying to watch that kind of action, usually with a bit, bent over like that.
Evie,
you've been on this channel too long, Evie.
It just felt a little bit kind of risque kind of thing watching that. But
Joe, what have you done to her on this channel today?
I thought he was absolutely kind of fantastic, the way that he didn't go down, he didn't fluff it up, but he just kept his composure. I think he's finally brought that kind of Spanish edge to him. Obviously he goes off on international. Yeah, exactly. And Pirro, I thought fantastic ball through. I thought he made me so cross at times because I'm just like, Pirro, stay in the box because you don't actually know how to football. So please just stay near the box, because he proved me wrong though, because that ball, the way that he carried it, and he actually played football, and then he the perfectly weighted pass as well. I'll shut up kind of thing, because he proved me wrong, and we needed that second goal, because had we have gone into the 90th plus minute without having that goal, having the Sunderland trauma come back to us, that would have been the worst 5.5 or 6 minutes by the time the ref actually gave us, blew the whistle. But yeah, I thought we were phenomenal.
Do you know what as well? Like, Farke's first touch hit the nail on the head. I think he said, I said it before, say it again, this league is absolutely bobbins this year. We've played the top 2 back-to-back and should have 6 points. It's there for us, this league, this season. Some will say, let's not get carried away and calmer and that. But listen, I've been thinking it for a while. And I look, now the fixtures turn for Leeds. They really do turn for Leeds. And the pressure's on in a different sense, because I expect us to win them games. I expect us to beat Millwall. I expect us to beat Watford even. I expect us to beat Swansea. So it's a different kind of pressure when you're going in being the team that has to win, But yeah, all praise tonight. I think, like, defensively...
Not all praise, Joe. I have a little bit of criticism.
Come on then, bring it.
So I think, first of all, I know he's just done a long international stint. He played both games. As much as I appreciated Aronson's endeavor, and he was getting into the right spaces, and he was, I think, causing problems for Sheffield, just couldn't finish, could he? Numerous opportunities. He's got to put at least one of them on frame. So for me, in a team this competitive, if you're Aronson, because there's a lot of competition for spots in those attacking areas, you've got to put away your chances. And you have to think at a certain point, Daniel Farke might go with somebody else, which that might be better for the team. I liked what he did overall, but I have to say that, especially in the first half, there were a number of chances that he should have bagged at least one. The second thing is, and I know maybe we're not going to want to talk about this, but I didn't actually think Meslier looked all that strong on crosses. I thought he was lucky to put one behind for a corner. He kind of flapped on it, and there was nobody touching him. So he always gives me a little bit of extra gray hair. And the third thing is, I noticed this in the first half. It was less of an issue in the second, obviously, but we don't have a lot of physicality in our attack. So when the referees decide to let things play on, and it does happen between Ramazani and Nato and Aronson going down, and Pirro can be pushed around a little bit. Some of those duels I think we sometimes miss out on because we're expecting a different standard of refereeing. That being said, you have to say this because our fans get quite annoyed if you bring up things you don't love. I'm very pleased with the performance. Excellent performance. But I still think, to what Joe said, and I think what others have said, we still haven't hit top gear yet. And these are some of the things I would like to see improve a little bit more. Aronson, just put the ball on target, man, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, he did have a few tonight, didn't he? He did have a few tonight, and yeah, there was.
Well, for every miss he gets, I'll get a couple DMs. Oh, Yanks up my club. It's just
really?
Thanks. Yeah. Just do it for me, Brendan.
Any thoughts on what Gabe said? I think he's fair there on the on the Aronson stuff and the Meslier one as well. I agree. And do you know what as well? It was a clear target, because I got angry because Norrington Davis had come all the way over and was literally stood in Mellier's face, just chuntering at him, and I thought that is going to be something other teams will target. So it's important for him to get another clean sheet, I think, tonight.
And I want Rodon to get in there. I know it's kind of an unwritten rule. Like, as a center half, if someone talks to your keeper, you start talking to them. Like, especially if your keeper's a little bit mild, like a little bit.
Nonto was doing it, wasn't he? Nonto was having it with their centre. It was their 6'4" centre back that Nonto was marking.
There's a reason for that. And I've properly looked into this, because one time I was really, really confused as to why is our shortest player on the pitch marking their centre back. But having looked at it in a bit more detail, it's to free up your actually tall players to be somewhere that your goalkeeper can't reach. So if something is landing roughly where Nonto is, in theory, Meslier is underneath it. So Nonto isn't going to win that header anyway. He's just to get Meslier a little bit of space if he can. And then you have your other
man zone scheme a little bit, zonal marketing.
Yeah.
A man focus, fair.
How good is this guy, by the way? How good is Firpo now? Like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe how good he is. Like,
did you see what he did though in the middle of the pitch, where he took the ball, span? I genuinely thought I was watching Rutter then when he did that. He beat like 3 players and then just ran on with it. It's just like you've got trust in him now to do the right things. And like when Raksaki came on, and it was clear he was watching the ball, not the player, and he got the foot in to then put the ball out. And I just thought, yeah, that he's a different. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's playing
the drop in the division. I think.
Well, there's that, and playing left centre forward for the Dominican Republic and scoring lots of goals, which generally tends to help him as well. But just overall, I'm just really happy, man. I said to Joe before we came on, if another Sunderland happens, I am going to refuse to come onto the. So it makes it a lot easier tonight, definitely.
It does.
But again, I have to say, we've not been outclassed by anybody.
Not
at all. We've not been outclassed by anybody. We've not hit top gear.
Middlesbrough in the cup, I think, outclassed us.
In the cup, fair. Yeah, in the cup. I'm thinking just league, bro. Yeah,
in league we haven't. In the cup,
fair. Fair statement.
We're not going to talk about Middlesbrough. We just forget that happened.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't even happen. It didn't. They were still upset. Rutter.
When you look
extenuating circumstances.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't actually count.
13 shots to 5. We've had tonight. They Sheffield don't concede shots. They haven't conceded shots, and we've done that to them this evening. And again, with fourth choice centre midfield pair, and it's just, I'm just happy.
Same. And again, I can't get away from the fact that we'll have played all of the top 6, and we're second. So now
it's like we're good or something.
Yeah, true. Like,
I'm still go on. Sorry, I'm still waiting for JT to swing in here and explain why it's all a bad thing.
He will do. He will. He's loading up. He's here anyway. Oh, he's got his vest on. He's come to bring be the bearer of bad news.
No, I'm not Michael Bearer, mate. I'm the Undertaker. Get out of here, man. No bad news around here. Sorry, I don't know. My camera's having some technical issues. How are you all? How are you all doing?
Good, mate. Buzzing. Look, rocking that tank top tonight, son.
Yeah, mate, it's boiling in here. I can't lie to you.
Looks like a people just do nothing episode. Lyrical blow to the jaw by JT over here.
What can I say, mate?
Come on, JT, talk to us, because you've been quite, not negative, but quite critical up to this point. You must be happy tonight.
I am happy. I will say, I did expect a little bit more from Sheffield United after that first 15 minutes. I thought
you were going to say yourself.
No. I thought Leeds were poor. No, I thought Sheffield United were very, very poor today. That second half was so comfortable for Leeds. I mean, I was sat there chilling. I was tempted to get a cigar out in that second half. It was so comfortable. So I think we will have bigger tests, is what I will say. But I can't complain with a 2-0 win, a nice clean sheet. I thought even in the first 10 to 15 minutes when Sheffield United did look like they were kind of, it was weird to see your first 10 minutes where we're not controlling the game and someone else is kind of dictating how we're playing. It was a little bit refreshing almost. But Leeds defended well in those moments. And then after the first 15 minutes, you start to see the fan base get behind them. Ellen Road, the atmosphere starts to pick up. And we just look more and more comfortable. Again, I thought could have created a little bit more. But in terms of when we did get the chances today, Aronson, I thought was particularly poor in front of goal. But boy, Ramazani, I have to talk about him. The work he was doing in that final third is phenomenal. It was almost Rutter-esque at times in there. You couldn't get the ball off him. There was one moment he was on the right-hand side of the pitch, plays a 1-2 with Bogle. He gets the ball again, and then he flicks it off. Someone crosses it all the way to the other side. He's the one on the left-hand side of the pitch getting it. Plays the 1-2 with Firpo. He gets choked in the box. He still gets the ball. That guy is getting
Quick question then on that, JT.
Every time.
And I guess for everybody, can we envisage a team that sees Aronson on the bench with a Ramazani, Nonto, Solomon, a Ramazani? You know, can we see that? Because it worked, didn't it? It did work.
We can, because when he was in the 10, I was actually very impressed with him.
Yes.
Now, what I will say, I think in that situation, because Aronson is just so tenacious with his running ability, I still think you're going to have to take Perot out in terms of if you don't have Aronson in the 10. I think Aronson is very instrumental in the way Perot plays in the number 9 role. That's my personal opinion, at least. I think maybe, especially with Joseph getting a goal today, I think that's going to do worlds of good for his confidence. So I'd like to see maybe Joseph up front with Ramazani in behind, because listen, Ramazani in the 10, and not even just Ramazani in the 10, the fact that Nonto, Ramazani, and potentially even Solomon are so comfortable anywhere across that front three it just gives you such a great ability for when one cuts in, the other one goes out wide. They can both kind of feature off either flank and through the middle. So you could definitely see that situation arising with Aronson out of the 10 for me.
Joe, you see why he plays him, though.
Front, but yeah.
You see why he plays him, because of the endeavor in the pressing. I think at a certain point, though, with the team being this deep, which I think everyone's touched on, if he doesn't start putting chances away, he's going to lose his place. I think he gives you a work rate.
Well, Joseph did. Joseph lost his place, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So, and honestly, that's what I like to see in a team deep enough that it's a meritocracy. If you're not scoring goals or if you're not putting chances away, the work rate is fantastic. Everybody works hard on the pitch. I would say that he brings an extra buzz to the press that maybe some of the other guys don't. But at the end of the day, if you're going to play in an attacking midfield role, you need to score goals or assist on goals. I thought he was okay today. Like, I thought he was taking up good spaces. I thought some of the balls he played in were really good. But you don't want to be a player who can be described as an almost or a close to no cigar guy over and over and over. You need an end product. So in that respect, I think that there will be some people nipping at his heels, and that's great. And if he loses his place, I fully expect him to nip at the heels of the guys who take it. So that's what you want aside.
Yeah, no, you bang on the money. We've had a couple of super chats. Hiru says a set piece goal. Joseph shutting up the critics. The ball kept away from Mez. Tanaka, Rothwell, Firpon, Pascal were class marching on. And he says Leeds will win the league if we play like that. If we play like we did tonight. White Star, White's Belfast subs were perfect. Yeah, can we talk on this? Can we look? He does still have his critics, but tonight, Daniel Farke absolutely outdone Chris Wilder in every single department.
I will say they made their first triple substitution, and it kind of just wobbled us a little bit because we didn't know what to do. Yeah. And then Farke made his substitutions, and it just brought it all back into us again. It was good, very, very good. So I've got no complaints about the subs at all this game. I thought they worked well.
Any other thought? Because I was like you, when Wilder brought him on, I went, see, he's been proactive. Why do we always... And that was my initial reaction. And then they weren't long after. And like you say, we go on and win the game.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them a little bit earlier as well. I mean, for their sake, obviously, in hindsight, he brought the subs on and a minute later we scored. So can I really complain? I would have still liked it to be a little bit earlier just for comfort wise and to see these guys get a few more minutes. I was proved wrong because I was critical also with the fact that I thought it was working when we were 1-0 up. I was surprised when he took Ramazani off and changed and put 2 up front and put the 4 in the midfield. I thought, hang on, that's a bit of a risk there with us being 1-0 up. We look like we're in good control of the game. And Sheffield United actually started pinging the ball around nicely there, but it adjusted well and it worked well for the goal with Perot and Joseph and their movement up front. So listen, I'll happily put my hands up and say I was proved wrong there. Again, it's not something I would have liked to see. I would have liked to potentially seen Ramazani stayed on the pitch for a bit more and put Joseph up there. But listen, hindsight's 20/20, and
the thing that's interesting
about it when it works
about the substitutions that he made as well. What he did that was actually very clever, I think, was that Sheffield had gone to almost like a flat back 4, and Farke kind of noticed that, which is when he brought on Joseph to almost make it like 2 up top, just to sit in a little bit more, and it worked really, really. So I've got to give him credit for that, definitely.
Can we talk about how Rothwell passed at a clip of 94% accuracy? A lot of forward passes as well. And then when the first goal came, he looked like he hadn't run at all. Like, did you see him? His shirt was pristine. His hair was nicely coiffed. I was like, who is this guy? And why does Joe think that he's trash?
So I'm going to speak on this now, right? I am going to speak on this. I was massively wrong. And look, there are people that know the game much more than me. So, like, I would have debates with Andrea, with other people, Connor, etc., that said to me, look, what you'll see when Rothwell is in that position that Gruev plays, he'll drive with the ball. He'll do... And I saw that, I saw that tonight. Like, there was a time just before halftime, he picked up the ball and he ran with it into space. I thought he was, honestly, listen, they know, but I haven't got a clue until I've seen it. And it is what it is. I saw it and I'm wrong. And I've already written my letter of apology.
Yeah, that's right. If you haven't seen it, Joe wrote a letter of apology and delivered it on One Leeds last week. So you can all go back and see his prepared political statement. It's very good. Yeah. Joe for PM.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you know what? This picture really makes me warm as well. Like, because Meslier deserve. Look, that's what you want to see, right? That is what you want to see. I know he fucked up and that, but the fact that the two centre-backs going over saying, you know what, we did it, we got a clean sheet. Regardless of what you think of Meslier, the group is together. And that sort of stuff warms me.
Well, it would be bizarre if they like ignored him after a win. Can you imagine that? Like your own teammate, they're like, "We did this, not you." No, I mean, like, listen, he's our goalkeeper, right? I was enraged, and my criticisms of Meslier have not been understated throughout the season, or last season, or the season before. But he is our number one goalkeeper, and everybody wants to see him do well. Nobody wants to see him blunder easy goals into the back of the net, you know. So the fact of the matter is, whether it's for a low amount of shots on target we're conceding, or maybe he makes some great saves, I don't care how we get it done. As long as we get it done, I'm fine. So I'm glad they're hugging Meslier. I'm glad he's happy. Give him high confidence. I could care less. As long as he's not throwing games for us, fine.
Yeah. I think he's a good goalkeeper, man.
I love the fact that he ran up after we scored the first goal and he was there celebrating in the corner with everybody.
Did you see him doing this? Did you see him doing that to the Sheffield United fans? He went, "You."
But also,
yeah. He ran up the pitch.
It's been half an hour and we've not mentioned it. Unless you mentioned it before I came on, but we scored from a corner.
I know, yeah.
We did mention it right from the jump, but it's so unbelievable. I almost blacked out.
I know. 222 corners, and we finally scored. I said on X, who's responsible for sacrificing the goat that allowed that to happen? Because that was bonkers. Nobody.
And it was O'Hare as well. I'm pretty sure it was O'Hare that should have picked up that ball that got to Strauch. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it was number 42.
You could say it was a hair away from it.
Oh, the funniest thing about that, Evie, the funniest thing about that was D'Souza went to the cop end when he put the ball out for the corner and celebrated the fact that he put the ball out for the corner.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
And then we score from the corner. It's just like karma. Love it.
I almost missed it. I can't lie. I was shocked. I went to the toilet. I've been sat there for like 60 minutes. I was like, you know what? Chat, I've got to go. I've been holding on for too long. Nothing's going to happen.
I thought you said you were sat in the toilet for 60 minutes.
No, not quite. I mean, I could have been at times in the first 15 minutes, but no, I mean, and then I just come back. Second I come back, I see Rothwell riding up to slide it into the box. It was all happening in like a million miles an hour, and we actually scored from it. And Strike,
it was a great finish as well.
Strike, deserves it. He's missed a couple of decent chances from corners.
Can't head the ball still. Can't head the ball, but it was still direct from a corner.
When he gets on his feet, different story.
Let's be honest as well. When Rothwell first instantly as the corner starts to go in, everybody here can be honest and go, "Oh, that's shit," because it was
I thought he'd completely miss it. That
yeah, me too. You're right.
But
right, we've got let's have, so Sheffield United were poor because Leeds made them look poor, 100%. Farker's got the squad happy in our hands already, folks. Because we sometimes get I'm saying this, but because some of us sometimes get giddy. But I'm seeing the question asked: do we even need a number 6? Do we still want one? Right, we still need one. Yeah,
we're one injury away from disaster. We absolutely need a number 6.
100%. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Sounds like we don't need a 6.
No, I'm not saying that. I've seen some of the chat ask it, so I thought I would ask it. If Joe ever writes a will, he should just leave everything to Joe Rothwell as a way of apology for calling him. He's prime because all of that. Yeah, I'll say it to the kids. I'm sorry, kids. I mean, I don't have nothing to leave them, by the way. But I'll say, Rothwell, you can have me streaming.
It's a running string of events here. Every time you hear Joe cuss a player out and say they're terrible, just know they're going to go on a good run. It happened last year with Bamford, happened the year before with Summerville, it's happened this year with Rothwell. It's a string of events, mate.
Joe, will you actually get on the mic and start cussing out Aronson for his lack of finishing? Yeah, maybe we'll go on a goal-scoring run.
Yeah, I will. Anyone think we look better this season than last?
No.
We look more balanced. We look like we're not reliant on 2 or 3 players doing something magical, and then look, we've won, and at the same time, it's we look a lot more sort of composed and together, and everything's a lot more consistent, I'd say.
I think the league looks worse this season.
Yes,
so by extension, we look better. Yeah. Like if Sheffield United is one of the league's elite this season, and Sunderland is one of the league's elite, this is miles away from where Ipswich was performing, where Southampton was performing, Leicester was performing.
So
the
true.
Usual subjects. So
yeah, you bang on with that. It's a bit of a gash league, and if we don't win it, then there's real questions asked. Mooks24 says, hello everyone, marching on together. Was so hoping for a third goal. I am born bred Leeds, but 4 of my closest mates from Sunderland really wanted to go top. Damn, it's all good, man. They're going to lose tomorrow against Hull. Burnley will lose against Sheff Wednesday, and it'll be all good for Wednesday night. Tuesday night, sorry, we'll go top. Don't worry.
Anyone they lose, we go top anyway. If they both lose, we go top anyway.
Oh yeah, gold. Oh yeah, they'll have had to concede, wouldn't they? Yeah, fair play. See, that's what she's here for. There you go. That was Carol Vorderman-esque with them maths there. Anyone feel sorry for Shag? No, man.
No,
I thought he played well, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he did all right.
I hope he trips on the way to
Listen,
the
mate,
locker
and you
room.
know, if they'd have won something, Chris Wilder would have been putting that camera point and square on Shackleton's face just to rub it into us. So, don't you worry feeling sorry for him, because Chris Wilder would have made a big point about that if they'd have beaten us. Money back guarantee.
We scored from a corner. Also, Rothwell was man of the match for me. He was class tonight, says Helen. He was amazing. Sean says, I apologise again for doubting you. So you should. So you should. There was another one I seen come in there that I wanted to flash up. I can't see it.
Whoa. You want to do what now?
What's going on?
Oh, that was it. Wilder was very complimentary.
What's going on?
You're all
like kind of show, mate.
What's going on? Hormones around here. My God.
You have to be on kick to do that, don't you?
Can we talk about the fact that O'Hare did not touch the ball at any stage, barely. We had Kiefer Moore did nothing. Arblaster, poor. Hamer, I know he went off injured, but yeah, he was poor. And these are top players at this level, aren't they?
If you would have thought,
sorry, Joe. I'll just say this quickly, then Joe jump in. For me, Hamer went off injured. He wasn't injured. It was because he had his backside handed to him all night, and he got taken off. He wasn't injured. I'm sorry, but he wasn't. Joe, carry on.
You're completely right. Yeah. If you were to say leading into that match, or say to just some random stranger that's watching it, one of these teams has had the last 2 weeks with the vast majority of their squad still together, training, preparing just for this match, you wouldn't think that was Sheffield United, would you? You'd come out of that going, they didn't really look like they knew what any of the runs they were going to make were. They didn't know where they were trying to pass the ball. The defensive structure was fine, I guess, but we still have that magic thing where we're like, oh, okay, so our 2 wingers are a little bit tired. How about we bring on Israel's best winger and Wales's most runny winger, and we'll just beat you that way instead? And it worked fantastic. I'm not calling him a liquid, by the way. Yeah, it's just
you can get tablets to solve that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for God's sake.
Good to know. I'll pass it on to Dan. Yeah, but yeah, it didn't feel like we were going to be in trouble at any point. To be honest with you, it was great.
This is what happens when we win. You see, this is what happens when we win.
Yeah, everybody gets insane. Joe, I think one of my big concerns about this this dual pivot of Rothwell and Tanaka is not the way they retain the ball. It's do they cover the same amount of ground that Gruev and Ampadu do? That was one of my biggest concerns. But what I will say is I've seen last couple of matches has been a real positional discipline. So maybe they don't, for instance, Ampadu covers a lot of ground very quickly and he's able to recover. And so he doesn't have a free roam position, but if he decides to move out of position a little bit, his instincts are good enough where you can kind of give him that leeway. These two don't do that as much defensively, but I have to say they did a great job clogging up passing lanes and making it difficult to play through us. Sheffield, when they had any luck whatsoever, it was down the flanks, and I have to say it's difficult for any right or left back in this league or in any league now, given the way the officiating's being done, to keep a winger silent all match. So any joy they did have was down the flanks, and even then we didn't concede much at all. Like I said, they only touched the ball 4 times in our box. So you have to say it was a great defensive effort, but one of my big areas of focus was how is that double pivot going to do, you know, if they're having to play a little bit more positionally conservative because they just don't have the tools in the locker that some of those other guys have, just in terms of how they cover ground. But I have to say, if we're going to retain possession like that, I mean, Rothwell 94%, Tanaka 89, high volume passing, not just horizontal passing, but vertical passing as well. It's really impressive. So you certainly lose some things with Ampadu and Gruev being out, but you do gain some things, or at least they're showing things that I think those two either by design or just by individual quality, haven't always shown. So I'm pretty pleased with what I've seen so far.
And that's against, conceivably, probably the best midfield, bar Burnley, that will come up against.
And they could have just had a shocker too. We have to think about this.
Yeah.
The reason championship players are championship players is because they can't do the high level stuff consistently, right? So that's one of the reasons they're not in the Premier League. So I don't want to read too much into the performance, but I will say that what I've seen and what we're all seeing is very positive.
Yeah.
Quick note on the positional thing, by the way, because I work at sports broadcaster, I've managed to watch both of the Japan matches over the international break, which was great because I could just keep an eye on Tanaka. Didn't play the first match, played against Australia, and he basically just played as a 6. He was playing effectively the same role that Ampadu does week in, week out, where if a centre-back decides to go for a wander, he'll drop in a little bit. If both of the full-backs are bombed on, he'll cover that. So I'm fairly comfortable on that front as well, because he sort of does that already, just not here yet.
He just doesn't engage those duels as high up on the pitch, Joe. I think for me, like a lot of times Ampadu, when we lose the ball, he'll be first in, putting a foot in. Tanaka does it, but it's not really his game. It seems to be more of a position guy. It's like because the same, we control the match, but you know,
Sounded like CP3 or C3PO then.
I think for me with Rothwell,
they weren't happy with him cussing him out, mate. Tanaka was changing the airwaves, man.
With Rothwell and Tanaka, the thing that I noticed tonight, and that was my biggest worry, was the centre of midfield. They're both very intelligent players, and what they were doing really well is they were covering each other really, really well. I don't think there was a point in the game where we looked overstretched in the midfield. If Rothwell was moving forwards, Tanaka was coming back. If Tanaka went forwards, Rothwell came back and covered. There's a really, really, really good understanding between the two of them, I think. And that was evident in the last game that we played against Sunderland and in this game as well. So, yeah, I get what Gabe's saying. It's just, I think, again, we're still not in top gear yet, which is frightening for me.
Yeah. Honestly, I know I say this all the time, but we'll dig the league from here on in.
Come on, mate. Come on.
I'm serious.
Come on. Bit of parliamentary proceeding, please.
No, I'm serious because we're second and we've played the top 6.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm not bothered about Watford. I'm not bothered about Swansea, Bristol City, Luton, Millwall. No, I won't chill, Jack. Honestly, you know what I'm like.
Watford are in the top 6.
Yeah, okay. Or Tuesday then.
I admire it. You know what? This is your moment, mate. This is your moment. You know what? You know what? You would come under a lot of heat. I've been giving you heat for you saying we're going to be front and centre. This is your moment, mate. Go on.
Yeah, where are we? Come on, Joe. You
all laughed at me. But you're not laughing now, are you?
Why is no one coming on now and apologising? Why are you apologising to me?
Not how Leeds
apologise moments in football.
It's not how we do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, they give me the shit. Call me every name. Where are you? You all laughed at me. Well, you're not laughing now, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Whoa.
Yeah, you tell him,
mate.
Sorry, I meant to do this one.
Yes, man. Get him told. Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi says, sorry, Joe and friends. I am so happy I had to come back before I tried to sleep. My son says, and I agree with him, that Ramazani is a better player than Cree, who he thinks was a one-trick pony. Ramazani offers more. Discuss, folks, what we're saying.
Listen. I said myself when I was getting a bit ahead of myself that, okay, he's getting closer and closer to Cree levels. And I said I thought he was the best player on the pitch. And I love those kind of short, intricate, tight midfield players that can cut in and out on a half pence. To say Crescencio Sarsfield is a one-trick pony is extremely harsh. The guy won us game after game after game. Yes, he was amazing at cutting the ball in and ripping and shipping it far corner, but the guy was slightly above Ramazani. Do I think Ramazani can get to that level? Yes, I do. Do I think there's certain aspects of his game, especially on his left foot, that are arguably better than Summerville? Yes, I do. But at this current moment in time, he's not quite at Summerville level. But they do both play very similarly, so I can see the comparisons. They're both very tight dribblers, and they're both people who don't stop going from minute 1 to minute 90. But a little bit harsher on Summerville there.
Let's not forget
how good.
He was player of the season
no,
last year
listen,
and had one of the best seasons that a guy's had at this level in a long
Summerville
time.
was
So
generational. He's generational.
It's a little bit early days to be saying anything like that. However, the gentleman that just donated that has given $70 in the last hour of this channel, so he can say whatever he wants. I'm not going to come at him too hard, but I will say, like, we tend to be this way as football fans, right? We have a recency bias. We tend to look past. Summerville was an unbelievable player for us. Yeah. Unbelievable player of the season last year. If Ramazani can come and match that statistical output in the way he's impacted games, fine. People are trying to act like we played the way we did last season because we had nothing else going for us. No, because it was so obvious Route 1 through Summerville because he was better than everybody else. So Ramazani still has a ways to go to match that for me, but could he? Would love to see it.
I think Ramazani has the potential to be better. I'm not saying he is better right now or is even at Summerville's level that, where he finished the season last year, but I think he's got more in the tank than Summerville does because he's less selfish than Summerville, and we seem to play better. The front four this year seems to be less selfish. Yeah, because it means that we're not reliant. The problem was we were so reliant on Summerville that his skills were often confused and also angered fans where we thought that he was being selfish because we're like, pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball. The ball's gone. You can no longer pass now. You have to score. And if you didn't score, it was on him. So by people being selfless and getting more assists than just individual goals, that means that we're not reliant, which means that we're not one-dimensional, which is what we suffered from at the end of last season.
She's coming with
I hear that, but at the same time,
man, she knows.
At the same time,
I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he's better. Yeah,
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are. It's just the selfless thing. I think we need a couple more selfish players in the team because a lot of the best forwards, you look at Mohamed Salah, you look at these guys that are 40, 50 goals a season. You need to be single-visioned when you get into that final third and be like, you know what, I could pass it, but I'm going to back myself to try and score this. Even if I rip into Rosed, I need to make sure I can get that goal. But
the difference is, in my opinion, JT, it's you get those players at the championship level, and most of the time they should pass that ball. Most of the time they should slot it out. I know what he was talking about. It. In Ramazani's second appearance, I mentioned it. I think he had a clear hack on goal, but it would have been at a more acute angle. So he passed it off. I don't remember who finished it. But it was one of the things I saw. I was like, oh, we didn't see that last season very much. So I see what you're on about and why you say, you think the potential could be higher because he seems to have a more selfless mentality. And you're right. I think in the championship, you want to see those types of players. That being said, I want Mateo Joseph every time he's in the box and the ball falls at his feet to want to score, So, yeah.
And he does have that in him, to be fair, Joseph. He does. Even though he's been missing chances, he does still have that little selfish streak in him. Which is a testament to him.
Sorry, I'm chuckling away here because I was just looking on YouTube Studio and there was a comment 4 hours ago that says, as a Blade, I'm hoping Hamer wants to make a statement tonight to let you know that £30 million bid was an insult. How's your fucking statement now?
Yeah. I think Wilder got in his own head, Joe. I think Wilder got cooked himself today. Obviously, we beat them, but I think it would have been a little bit more closely contested. When you look all the statistical categories, I mean, it's not even close. 2-0 is a nice scoreline.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is important to mention, I know we've talked about it with regards to are we a better team this season than what we are last season. One thing that I will say that we are definitely better at is the fluidity in the attacking players in terms of their movement and being in different positions on the pitch, which just seems to help. I mean, what Ramazani and Nonto swapped halfway through the first half. They did it again in the second half. They were constantly moving around, and it makes it really difficult for the defenders. And then you've got Ramazani coming in at the number 10 for a little while. Didn't do himself any disgrace at all. Played really, really well. Nearly got into a fight with D'Souza, which was hilarious to watch. But just, I really like. We feel more of a team than a team of individuals, which is what
balanced. Like Joe said earlier, just balanced, aren't we?
Just the balance is so much better in terms of skill level wise. It's probably not, but just overall, that fluidity is so much better this season than what it was last season for me.
There's something else that I think is a really good sign as well, because Wilder said that he tried to mirror what Southampton did against us in the league and in the playoff final. So clearly trying to copy those same tactics that worked for Southampton and made sure that we couldn't get promoted. Clearly we know what we're doing against that now, and we've adapted to it, and we're sort of learning.
Team.
So
what a weird thing to do. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna apply the tactics from last season when you had different players.
Yeah.
What
and it's
genius.
like, you've not lost this season, but you're going to change things anyway. Okay, you're such a smart boy, Ham Man. But
is Wilder? He's English, right? He's not.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
surprised the FA.
He's from Sheffield.
I'm surprised the FA didn't go for him over Thomas Tuchel with their decision making. What an absolute bonehead.
Yeah. But you see, the other thing is you set up the team like that to play against how Southampton played against us. We've got two progressive midfielders this time around. It's different. And I mean, if we had Andrea on here tonight, he'd be screaming to the rafters about verticality and how much that helped us this evening, and how much, Rothwell running forward with the ball, Tanaka running forward with the ball helped us out. And it's been proven over the last two games.
Craig Dowling says, to be fair to Wilder, he said Leeds were much better than us, and it is lovely to hear. How good was Tanaka? Clean sheet, Mez, even though he didn't do much, but builds his confidence back up. Yeah. Agreed with that as well. It's important. Yeah. Blunts were blunt as feck. They were. Great performance. I don't know if there's anything more we can add to that, really, folks. Verticality, did you make that up? No, it's a word. It's a word.
The in vogue word these days in tactical conversations.
It is. I do like it, actually.
It's made up by our friend Andrea, who is on the telly in Italy talking about sport.
Yeah.
One thing that I was going to say was the fact that I was anxious about coming into this game, not just because of the fact that in theory they should be top of the league. If you add the points deduction points back on, then they are actually top of the league, obviously unbeaten until tonight. But with obviously the personal circumstances behind everything that's happened, ex-Sheffield United player, and also Sheffield United creator as well, I would have, with that amount of emotion behind you, it's amazing. Look at what Greece did. That was why they beat England, was the fact that they had emotion on their side. They had something other than football to play for. So I really expected that from Sheffield tonight. Like I really expected that to be kind of their arsenal in their weapon kind of thing. I really expected that, and I was very underwhelmed by that. I was disappointed. If I, obviously not, thank God, because I've got brains, but if I was a Blade fan, then I would have been really disappointed in that performance, because I don't think that they gave enough for the shirt tonight in terms of passion on the pitch.
Well, we'll see him again, won't we? Let's hope we don't have to eat our words when we go to their spot. But I think you're right that they were a little bit underwhelming, and I keep getting told what a big asset Kiefer Moore is. I haven't really seen it much this season for them.
No, and to be honest, he's not the flavour of the month with Sheffield United fans, to be fair. I don't think a lot of them are sold on him. So,
that should have ended up as a goal for us as well, when he passed it directly to us.
Oh, no, yeah. Nonto went really.
It was the one time that Nonto actually didn't cut it onto his left foot. I was like, hang on a second, he literally cuts it on his left foot.
He could have passed it as well.
He could. The one time he decided to actually take it on his right foot. It's the one time he shouldn't have.
Shades of Diego Llorente 2022.
Yeah, Firpo got into Kiefer Moore's head throughout the game as well. They were at each other for a lot of the game, and Firpo was just winding him up constantly. It was really funny to watch.
It was. Scott says, Justin started watching. I was worried because Sheffield United have a proper starting 11. I thought we might lose. We dominated that match, bro. Our backup midfield owned this game. Agreed. We have a proper squad. We have a proper 11 as well. That was their first proper test, and they didn't come through it. So there you go. Leeds United came through tonight. Should have come through before the international break. Penalty against Norwich. All these things are context as to why we were front and centre. We now are front and centre, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. And you already know my thoughts on it. I think it will. I know it's early, folks. I know it's early, but It is what it is. Yeah, I thought we'd go up last year though, so I think we'll do well every year. So it's not really anything worth its salt me saying it. Does anyone else want to back me up, or are you all just a little bit tentative?
Nervous. There's definitely bigger tests. There's bigger tests. I know it's Sheffield United. People thought we were going to be. Listen, a lot of teams, mate. I mean, listen, Sheffield United today, they couldn't stir a glass of milk with a blender today.
Just tell me which teams. Tell me which teams.
Which teams? I can't tell you.
Yeah.
That's not the name of the game. I think Burnley, when we play them again,
it's a secret, Joe. He's not going to tell you.
It's not a matter of a secret. I'm saying that Sheffield United are not all that they're cracked out to be, in my opinion.
Okay, so
we are going to come under more pressure throughout the rest of the season. Now, can I tell you which games those were? I thought there was games we were going to cruise last year that we ended up making a lot more difficult, QPR, etc., etc. I'm saying there's going to be some tight moments. It's not going to be, okay, we've beaten Sheffield United, now we're going to cruise. It's not going to be
bigger test
Tony cruising. Burnley, I think, will be a bigger test when we play them again. I think Borough, there's in the cup, there'll be a test when we play
Borough
them.
Fair, yeah, I fear. Borough decent. But that's Sheffield United's first. That's Sheffield
I know, but they were poor today, man. All I'm saying is they're poor, so
because
don't
of
get
Leeds,
too carried away.
Because
partially, but I thought they were just also really off it, and I think they've been quite lucky at times this season. But I'm saying, obviously, it's a good marker.
Why are you pretending like you've watched Sheffield United?
Of course, I watched Sheffield United. They're in the league, are they not?
You know, when I was
tonight.
I used to have an EFL on Quest subscription. I know they changed it now, but you know.
The one thing that I will say about tonight, which was very, very evident, is when you come to Ellen Road under the lights and it's busted.
The atmosphere.
It either makes teams grow or shrink, and I think the atmosphere really played a part tonight. The fans were on it from the start, and that really, really helps. And that's where people talk about the weight of our shirt. Wearing our shirt was heavy, and each one of those players, to a man, stood up tonight, and they took that atmosphere and they ran with it, and that's going to be the big difference for us this season. We need to keep that atmosphere.
I think on paper, Joe, our team is so much deeper and better than most teams in this division.
Yeah.
Right. So am I surprised or like if I had taken a break from watching and just tuned in at this point in the season to see us tied for first or wherever tied for second, I'd say no. I mean, this are right around where they should be. Maybe not quite as good. So, I'm not going to get carried away, but it's not like last season when there were a number of near Premier League quality teams up at the top of the table. I think the threshold for failure is going to be a little bit broader this season. We're going to be able to drop points. Not that I want us to, but knowing our fan base, we're probably going to panic every time we drop points. But I would encourage everybody just to sort of take a step back, realize that the league is not that good. We need to see sustained performance levels from the guys. We have a lot of young players still. There are pitfalls that happen with young players, with the Josephs, even Aaronson's not that old. I think he's 24 years old. Ramazani is young. Nanto is young. When you're leaning on that many young players, you're going to have periods of where, maybe the chances dry up. Maybe the finishing's not good. The point being, though, I don't see any reason why this team shouldn't coast to close to 90 points again. And 100%. That needs to automatically take you up in this league. So,
Gabe, you can't mention the 90 points. You're not allowed to mention the 90 points.
Well, I told them all. Actually, I told them all we're going to win the XG trophy, the 90-point trophy, and the actual trophy.
I thought you hated every time I mention statistics like XG or post-shot XG, you act like you've never heard them before. But then suddenly now you want to have a trophy.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because it fits my narrative. If it don't fit my narrative, I don't want to know. I already knew that Watford had creeped into the top 6, but it didn't fit my narrative. Then when Joe mentioned it, I was like, bastard, he's checked. Anyway.
This is honest.
I've checked because I'm going for the first time in like a year.
There you go. Good man.
I've got to pay attention sometimes.
You do. Farker did say, delighted, rock solid defence, great performance. Still wary of suspension and injuries, though, which could stop this run. So we stay awake when it comes to the free agent market. I can't confirm anything yet. So they're still there. They're still active. So let's watch this space.
That's Furco and Rodon now, both on form.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we have to be careful. But we still got Schmidt. We haven't seen a lot of him, have we? So there's still there. But yeah, definitely. I think that's it, folks. I think we're done, are we? 55 minutes on the clock. Everyone's has anyone got any things they want to share?
So we're all agreed that if it ends up being 1 point against Norwich, people will want Daniel Farke sacked again, right?
Yeah, they will do, yeah. We'll keep fighting the good
I'm not
fight.
saying I do, but I'm saying they will. Yeah.
They're quite quiet tonight. Kilgallen, where are you? There's a few. They know where they are. They're very quiet tonight. Probably watching in the shadows, like Bane. You know what I mean? They're sat there in the League of Shadows. Anyway, listen. Thank you all for watching. Smash a like on the video. We hit 32k subscribers tonight, so big up to everyone. Get your comments in. Thank you, mate. Hit the notification bell, all that jazz. Check out I said that, did that last time. Check out Gabe on
you
One
always
Leeds.
call me Jer. We
Jer,
don't look
I know
alike.
it's G. G.
Yeah.
It's the G, isn't it?
You're both cool, calm, and collected. That's why.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I don't actually know that many names beginning with G.
I don't know if I'm cool, but
You look pretty cool to me, man. You sound cool. I like the hat. You're looking fresh. I'm liking it, man.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Watch Gabe on One Leeds. Yeah. Watch Joe B on Joe Blackburn. Watch Paul on Leeds Therapy. Watch Evie on Discourse of a Peacock. And watch JT on JT Live. There you go. You look at this. Jack's putting them all in. Jack's putting them all in. There you go.
And
Put them in.
Just Joe right here, of course. Stick that.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Yeah, that would be nice as well.
Jack, you didn't put in One Leeds. What's the deal? It's a hostile environment. It's a hostile environment.
I don't think Jack's One Leeds biggest fan. Oh, he says, I got you. Where is he? Oh no, maybe not. Come on, Jack. Can you do it? Can you bring yourself to do it?
Oh, what a guy.
So pays me.
That's funny.
He's one of the stands. Listen. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final word. Peace out now. Enjoy. Joe pays. I do not pay you, man. Don't say that. Anyway, bye-bye. Peace out. Fuck off.